Hey, it is the end of September and it's playoff baseball time. And there are some unwritten rules in baseball. And guess what? There are some unwritten rules in investing and buying businesses. We're going to dive into one of the unwritten rules of buying a business right after this. Welcome to the Invested Life with Dan Can.
Most people chase success. Few build it on a foundation that lasts. On the Invested Life with Dan Can, we explore the intersection of faith, business, and personal growth, helping you invest in what matters most. This is your space to protect, provide, and promote with purpose. Join us now and start building a life you truly love.
Welcome to the Invested Life with Dan Can. I am Dan Can, and this is the show where we invest in ourselves, others, and businesses. The businesses that we invest in are insurance, real estate, and bookkeeping and Dan Can Business Solutions. I get approached a lot with people in my network and my community about potentially buying a business. Oftentimes, there are people that have worked a technician, what I call a technician job. So they've done something for somebody else for quite some time, and they're a little tired of maybe being a team member or an employee. In fact, I had a dear friend reach out to me, and we had a great coffee, and he was sharing with me that he is about ready to retire and he's about 2 years out or a year out. He gets to decide that, which is a wonderful choice. And he asked me some really great questions about buying a business. One of the neat things about being in the marketplace for over 20 years is that I've seen a lot, I've experienced a lot. I bought a few businesses and he asked me my opinion. I'm going to tell you the story about how I bought this business, why I bought it, and what some of the unwritten rules of investing in a business look like. I do want to give a fun disclaimer, and this is coming now. This is starting to be part of my favorite part of the podcast. Is guess what? I'm not a lawyer. I am not an accountant. I am not a registered financial advisor. But what I am an investor. I'm a deal finder. That's what I do. I invest in businesses, real estate, people, all the good stuff. And this is a story on how I invested in a business. So, as many of you know, I own an insurance agency and I love it. I've been doing insurance for over 18 years. We were really rolling. This is pre-COVID. We were building this massive referral network with auto dealerships all around the inland Northwest. And so I had to hire a marketing director to visit these dealerships. And I hired her. She is amazing. She's still on my team today. And man, she took this referral network and just blew it up. She went to Montana, Oregon, Idaho, just unbelievable. Well, the company I represent, after about 3 years, made a pretty strong decision that, you know what, we don't want to go after that business anymore. So she knew, and I knew that her job position was going to be eliminated with my company. Now, she is an amazing team member, and I definitely would have found a spot for her. But in the back of my mind, I knew in our interview process from 3, 4 years ago that she has been doing bookkeeping and has done bookkeeping for over 30 years. And so I had a meeting with her and I said, hey, listen, this opportunity is going away being a marketing director, but maybe we can create another opportunity. And that's what I mean by I'm a deal finder. So I told her, I said, hey, listen, let's look for a bookkeeping business for sale. And she kind of looked at me and said, is that even possible? I said, of course it is. So I just started looking for businesses online. Believe it or not, I would look on Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace. I'd look on the internet with buy businesses, all the great stuff. Well, I found one, if you can believe that, on Craigslist, and I live in Spokane, Washington. This business was located in Coeur d'Alene, which is, very close to us. So I did the whole, I'm interested in your business, blah, 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 and sent the email. I didn't get any response for 2 weeks. Well, then I got a response. Hey, I currently have a buyer. Thank you so much for reaching out. And I know how this goes because, like I've said, I bought a few businesses. I said, well, if anything happens, please let me know right away. I'm really interested in your business because they were some fantastic numbers. Well, a month and a half goes by. no communication with the seller. Then I got an email from her saying, hey, the deal fell through with the other person. Would you still like to meet? I said, of course. So my team member and I drove to Coeur d'Alene. Now, I've probably sat down with over 20 business owners looking at their business. And I can tell you most times they're not selling a business, they're selling a job. And most people that can pay for businesses don't want a job, they want to buy a business. Well, this woman had done a fantastic job. She had created a business. And we're going back and forth and we're talking about her clients and top line revenue and fixed costs and, obviously, how much it makes. And man, I really want to buy this business because this is kind of the unwritten rule, if you will, kind of like with baseball. One of my unwritten rules is I like to do a 1-for-1. So what I mean by that is whatever the top line revenue is, that's going to probably be our sales price for the most part or around there. And this was definitely within the 1-to-1 range. She had fantastic margins. This is what I loved about this bookkeeping business is that it was reoccurring revenue, which I love that as a business owner. In addition, she had annual contracts. So all these things are lining up. She had 98% pay customer pay her. So it's like all these things that I really want this business. I'm looking at my team member. She really wants to buy the business because she knows her marketing job is going away. And the woman that I'm negotiating with, she seems excited. She seems like bought in with the whole Dan Can experience. But I could tell, and I've done this for a bit, that something was basically she had a hesitation and I didn't know what that was. And you got to sell to the person you're selling to. And so I could tell that she was a very detailed person. So I was speaking very detailed. I was giving her my resume about, being a business owner for 20 years, all these things. And I felt like it was going well. So the unwritten rule here is, hey, sometimes you just got to ask. And so I'm sitting there, I want to buy the business. I have the capital for the business. I have an operator for the business. And that's another unwritten rule. If you're going to buy a business and if you aren't going to run it, you need an operator. And I have an amazing operator sitting right there. I have an amazing opportunity to buy a business sitting right there. I have the amazing capital to buy the business. It's right there, but I don't have a deal. And so it's my job as the leader, right, to figure out why. And so this woman, she's the owner of the business. She's fantastic, like I said. So we've been together now for about an hour, hour and a half. And so I just asked her, I said, hey, I feel like this is going really well. I feel like you see value in me, my team member. I think you know that we'll take fantastic care of your customers. We are efficient, proficient, and we can definitely do this work. I just want to ask you, what is stopping you from selling the business to me? And she's was kind of hesitant because she didn't know if she wanted to be completely honest. And so at that point, I just waited. That's another unwritten rule. Whoever talks first loses. So I presented the request, and then I just kept my mouth shut, just like that. And so she said, well, to be honest, I thought I had a really great buyer before, but he didn't have the financing. He said he could get finance. He didn't have the financing. I want to sell this business because my husband and I are moving from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho to Florida. We can't leave until I find someone to buy this business. And so I'm really hesitant because I have 3 other appointments after you with some other people that are looking to buy the business. Well, now I'm focusing on her needs, right? She's the client, she's selling. What is her conflict? What is her problem? Her problem is she wants to sell the business. On top of that, she thought she had it sold, but the person couldn't get financing. This is what I call show them your bank statement close. So I need to close the deal because I'm the owner, I'm the visionary leader, right? I've said many times on this podcast, on all the companies that I own, I'm in charge of 2 things: vision and finances. Okay. I'm bigger than that. I'm in charge of creating and maintaining big relationships. This is a big relationship. So, this is what I do. Told her, hey, thank you so much for being honest with me. Now I can help you. So, This is kind of a bold move, but I did it. I grabbed my phone. I went to my online banking. I logged in. I opened up how much money I had in my account. I stood up. I walked around the table, and her name was Mary. I said, Mary, showed her what I had in my account, and I said, Mary, I would like to buy your business. She looked at me, she thought about it, and she said, I would like to sell my business. We shook hands. She did owner financing with a large down payment, and she has been amazing to work with. I mean, amazing. She was great at transferring her sphere of influence and trust from her to my team member to their clients. Even though she moved to Florida, she has been unbelievably accessible. This note was a 3-year note with a large down, and in December the note will be eradicated, vanquished. I'll have additional cash flow. So, what are some of the unwritten rules I talked about? One, you want one for one, top line revenue to price, if you can get it. Another unwritten rule about buying a business. For me, I really like reoccurring revenue. I like annual contracts. I like white collar professional businesses. That's definitely one of them. So many good things going on here. If you are interested in learning more about how to buy a business or investing in businesses or other people, like for example, if you want to invest with me, you can visit my website, which is obviously Invest with Dan Can. And we would love to help you out to show you some of the other business principles. Unwritten rules are out there and we all have to play by them. When we're finished here, when we come back from the commercial break, I'm going to share an unwritten rule about baseball that I believe you may laugh at after this.
One accident can change everything. Are you covered? At Dancan Insurance Agency in Spokane, we protect what matters most: your family, your car, your peace of mind. Get a free quote in a timely fashion. Dancan, because you can count on us. Dancan Insurance Agency specializes in auto, home, motorcycles, and life insurance. Call us today at 509 328 1422.
The Invested Life podcast is how to provide, protect, and promote. These are three things that I really am passionate about: providing, protecting, and promoting. I love it. Obviously, as I said at the intro, we do that by investing in ourselves, others, and businesses. Well, I believe creating a lifestyle where you can be involved in the community is a fantastic way to live. And so I developed a life through mentorships and reading books and God's favor, where I had the opportunity to coach all of my kids' sports for the most part. And so I love baseball. Like I've said on my podcast before, I was decent. I could make the team at baseball, but I wasn't like the star of our baseball team by any means. I love it. I love numbers. I love all the things about it. My Seattle Mariners just qualified for the playoffs last night, which is a huge win. That's twice out of 24 years, but we'll take it. And so this is a story about the unwritten rules of baseball. And so I coach this baseball team. I have twins. My wife and I have twins. And I had this amazing baseball team. We had three families, mine and two other families, were there. The boys were pretty decent athletes. Two of them had two brothers, so that's four, and then my two, that's six. So we had this really core group of six. Now, our baseball team in Spokane, baseball is kind of a big deal, and so like there's like the A baseball clubs. Those are the elite baseball clubs. That's where all the players, all their gear matches, their hats, their bats, their gloves, their bags all match. I mean, even matches their parents' cars. I mean, these people are all in on baseball, right? And so these are like travel teams. We were not that. We were the B, so we're high B. Okay, and the reason for that is because two of our players, they were playing two grades up. Now, when you're 10 years old and you're 8, 7 playing against 10 years old, that's a big deal. So we're B, okay? But we had a pretty good team. And in fact, it was so good. 3 years, we won 3 city titles. I think we lost once in 3 years. So it was a pretty good squad. Well, word had gotten out that, we were this good B team. and one of the A teams wanted to play us and play us in a scrimmage. Now, this was just on a ballpark. This wasn't part of the league and all this stuff. And our team, we were used to winning. We were used to scoring a lot of runs, have some very competitive kids and parents on this team. And I'm unfortunately one of those competitive parents sometimes. So we decided to play this A team, and we're the B team, but we're used to winning. Well, we go to play and we are all pumped, like, because we're going to show them and all this other stuff. And I was like, let's just play the game. Well, I have three sons. Okay. One of my sons, he's kind of like me. He's competitive, but sometimes not, kind of go with flow guy. And I have another son who doesn't even know what the word competitive means. He would rather love and talk to somebody than compete against them, which fundamentally is what we're supposed to do anyway, right? And then I have another son who's crazy competitive. He's off the charts. Well, I'm coaching this team. We're playing the A team, and it's the fourth inning, and nobody has scored a run. My team's not used to this, and they're kind of freaking out. They are definitely getting tense. I'm not going to say they're criticizing each other, but they're definitely not being positive. Well, one of my sons, his name is Caleb, he loves people and he is very kind. Like, he would much rather talk and care about somebody than compete with somebody. But he's a good athlete. And so I would just say, like, I don't even know if he knew what score was. I mean, he's just one of those guys. He's engaged with the people and his teammates. Everyone else is freaking out. So Caleb gets up there to bat. He bats ninth, he plays right field. So he's sitting there, pitcher's pitching. I mean, obviously he's doing well. It hasn't allowed any runs. Throws a strike, ball, throws a strike. Well, Caleb cracks his ball. I mean, it's gone. Now, there wasn't a fence, but it would have been a home run. So it goes over. Caleb's running. Our whole team is freaking out. He's coming around second. He's coming around third. All the team is just jumping up and down. He comes, he hits home plate with his foot. Everyone freaks out. They're tapping his head, his head, helmet. He's going nuts. And we're all celebrating. Everyone's celebrating. It's like this big release just happened. Well, Caleb, I mean, he's never been in this circumstance before, right? He's like 11, 12. So he's all excited and high-fiving. He doesn't know what to do. And he's looking around left and right. And I kid you not, he literally drops down on the third baseline and starts doing the worm on the third baseline. I can't believe it. I'm in shock. Everyone's in shock. He's doing the worm down the third baseline, and I'm the head coach, and I can see the other coach and the other parents, and they don't think this is quite as amusing as we do. So probably about the fifth, what would you call that, rotation? Probably about the fifth rotation that he's doing the worm. He comes up, I grab him by his belt buckle from his baseball pants. I pull him up. I go, Caleb, I love you, son, but you can't do the worm in baseball. So my Dan Cam musing is, you can't do the worm in baseball to celebrate. That is an unwritten rule. Man, I hope you enjoy that story half as much as I did. When we come back, I'm going to tie the unwritten rules together in regards to baseball, investing in a business.
One accident can change everything. Are you covered? At Dan Can Insurance Agency in Spokane, we protect what matters most: your family, your car, your peace of mind. Get a free quote in a timely fashion. Dan Can, because you can count on us. Dan Can Insurance Agency specializes in auto, home, motorcycles, and life insurance. Call us today at 509-328-1422.
There's no doing the worm in baseball. How about that? Okay, if you're looking at investing, and buying a business, man, I would really encourage you to do a few things. One, find a mentor. That's huge, okay? Find somebody who has done it. If you want to hire me to help you, you don't need to hire me. Just call me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Now, if you do want to hire me, it is crazy expensive, but that's okay. That's kind of a joke, but not. The other thing is, man, you want to find something, in my opinion, that has reoccurring revenue, that has annual contracts. You also want to really focus on something that you believe you can scale. That's a big word right now. A lot of books coming out about that right now. But basically, there's people out there, right, that say this: if you're not growing, you're dying. And so you definitely want to be able to scale the business. You want to know where to look for businesses. The best businesses that I've ever bought were actually not online. It was just a relationship. So you have to network. You have to work the people that you have to work the situation in regards to what you're wanting to create. And that's what I love about businesses, the market and the marketplace, is that I get to create all the time. Something that I've been really working on in my businesses are what I'm calling the 3 C's. And basically, it looks like this: contacts, so creating contacts; content, creating valuable context; and then closure, right? So we want to have contacts, we want to have content, and then we want to have closure. Those are my 3 things. And I'm really, really enjoying that. That helps me provide, protect, and promote. That helps me invest in myself, others, and businesses. Today, I'm actually going to be hosting in beautiful Spokane here. 25 business owners are coming to hear about Dan Can's How to Create Organic Leads workshop. I'm going to talk about that in one of our episodes. Here's the deal: if you want to invest, if you want to enjoy the journey, I want to encourage you to go out there and do it. If you need the 5 books that I believe will do impact, that will help you, please email me at dancan@wavecapitallending.com. That's dancan@wavecapitallending.com. I will send you 5 books that have had major impact on me. Thank you so much for listening. This is the Invested Life podcast with Dan Can. And remember, Dan Can listeners, love well and do good, and don't do the worm.